those who live the sword, and the next line is destined to perish with the sword. Now, this is an ancient proverb, and it is really full of insight and wisdom and relevant to what is happening in the context of Afghanistan. Now, I believe my job is not to go in for the latest or what's happening, the updates, and I fully respect my viewers who are watching this are perfectly aware of what's going on in Afghanistan, which is really a great concern for all of us internationally. My thrust and my endeavor is to share with you about the international response that is shaping and churning, as I believe that is very, very crucial to understand the new world order and how the countries are responding to Afghanistan is very, very interesting and vital points to reflect on. And the second point I would like to share is Joe Biden. Why did he mess it up? Why did he goof it up? I mean, people who follow him, like I did after the Trump election, very, very closely, it has come as a stunning surprise that this kind of a move. But, as being a devil's advocate, we need to also understand that what could be the compulsion, the logic, and what could be the factors behind the decision. Very quickly and rapidly, like to maybe share a little points on that. And finally, we like to have a snap poll on the history of Afghanistan. So let me have the play in the next few minutes. The fact is that Afghanistan is called the graveyard of the superpowers or the empires that have been trying to invade. Now, we started with British Empire and the height of their might, where the sun never was set, were humble. They had to, uh, you know, it the warriors of Afghanistan in those tribal areas in the hills gave the British a run for their own so-called might, and that was where the myth was broken about the British Empire that they are the most formidable force. But the ferocity of the warriors has sparked a great interest in the strategists and the military thinkers about their tactics and how they have been doing it all along. The Soviet Union invaded in 1979 with a couple of lakhs of soldiers, just overtook, and they tried to rule it precisely after 9 years, somewhere in 1988. They met their doom and they had to withdraw most disgracefully. It took them a couple of months to do that. But the bottom line is the Soviet Union was given a thrashing and they came out of it totally wounded. It was in that period when the whole thing about Mujahideen, which was created by the United States, came into being, a faction of the Taliban. Afghanistan is mysterious. Afghanistan is a land of fighters. It is historically true. Now, what is happening in Afghanistan? Joe Biden all of a sudden decides to withdraw, though he was giving sufficient hints for that. He was saying that we got 2,500 soldiers and we have to move. We can't keep fighting for another country. Actually, that was the argument of Trump, who said 700 miles away, it's not my burden, it's not my fight, let them fight. We're not going to mess around. And that sort of appealed to the Americans who lost so much of money, so much of lives. And they said, we better get out of this country and let them fend for themselves. And Joe Biden, of course, he had declared as a policy matter, but the only problem was that the way he went about it, he didn't listen to the intelligence community, he didn't listen to the Pentagon officials, he just blundered into it, and that fatal decision, hasty, made it happen. Now, he may have a point that we can't fight forever for Afghanistan. They have to, fend for themselves. Well, okay, fine, that's true. Maybe you got a point there. But the way it has been done doesn't behove the President of the United States to do something like that. It's awful. It's really terrible. And we are left with consequences. And the international response of the community, like, oh, God, our next door neighbor went around embracing with the, you know, olive branch. And China is also exposed, who's the first one to have a declaration of recognition, and they're saying that we'll watch their conduct. And even Russia is very open to the whole idea. And slowly and gradually, I believe the nations will start learning how to work with Taliban. It's scary, it's like what happens. But the only good point is that Taliban has given a signal that they'll be fair to the women, amnesty to the locals, and how they will continue is going to be watched. I'm running out of time, friends. A lot to say, a lot to share. Perhaps if I have the privilege of with you in a cup of tea or coffee somewhere, we can talk a lot more. But I think I better end here. So that's it. Thank you.